Hey, what's up? This is Jhene Aiko, and you're watching Hard Knock TV.
Straight up, what a waste of my day. If I had it my way, I'd roll out of bed, say about 2:30 midday. Hit the blunt and hit you up to come over to my place. You show up right away. We make love and then we fuck and then you give me my space.
On your EP, you had a lot of features, but on this album, you have one feature. Why was that important to you?
In the beginning, it didn't start off that way. It was like, obviously I had done all these features, and the EP was sort of just like something I wanted to put out that was familiar. You know, people were familiar with all of my work with the rappers. And so it was easy to digest. Like, oh, you did all these songs with all these rappers, so your project is gonna have a whole bunch of rappers on it. For me, Sold Out is the true introduction of me, of who I am. And so, you know, my story as told by me, you know, with 10 features on it, it's not really all me. It's like, you know, lots of other people chiming in and not really, you know, not really with a personal connection. And I feel like the features that I do have, you know, my daughter, obviously, there's that connection. James Fauntleroy of Cocaine 80s, you know, he's known me since I was probably like 12. And musically, we just connect. And then Common, I feel like, gets it. You know, he totally sees what I'm trying to do, and we're both Pisces, so we're on the same like wavelength. And yeah, so I wanted to, towards the end when it was shaping up, like, okay, I've done all these songs and there's not a lot of features. I liked it. Like, I was like, yeah, this is not something that's happening often in the realm of like R&B. It's always about the feature. And so I wanted to bring it back to when it was just like, this, I'm the artist of this album, so that's what you're gonna get for the most part, is me.
Speak a little bit about Pretty Birds in particular, and what Common brings to that, and what the inspiration was for that song.
Yeah, so that was the last song that I recorded for the album. And it was another track that No ID had gave to me, and I knew that I wanted to use it because the saxophone just like did something to me. Like, it made me feel the way, but it was hard to write to. So the last day of recording, I just went in and just was like, okay, I'm not even gonna try to write to it. I'm just gonna like say how I feel, which was like a little frustrated and a lot tired, and just like, I just had a lot to express, but I knew that I wanted to keep it simple also. So yeah, I just went in there and freestyled and did a solid take. And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm not, you know, like, let's not try to make this one pretty. Like, let's just, this is it. And we sent it to No ID, and he loved it. And he's like, what do you think about a feature? And I was like, yeah, let's put Common on it, because I had just done Black Magic with him. And, you know, like I said, I just feel like we're on the same wavelength. So I think he added the perfect outro to the entire album. Like, he summed up pretty much everything, you know? So yeah, I really appreciated him for that.
And there's a blinding light inside of you. There's a blinding light inside of you, and they cannot deny you. They cannot deny you. Pretty bird, pretty bird.
Donald Glover, who you worked with, recently said that he thought rap is dead right now. I'm just curious, since you've worked with a lot of rappers, do you feel that way, or what do you feel about that statement? Or
I don't feel like rap is dead. I feel like, you know, right now, the genres are just sort of blending into each other. The younger, I don't know, I feel like my generation, like, we were brought up around so many different types of things, and because of the internet, haha, Childish Gambino. Because of the internet, we're exposed to a lot more, you know, and it's like free music, and there's always like new artists and just people behind their computers, you know, putting out their own music. And so yeah, I just feel like the lines are being blurred, and there's not really a such thing as a rapper anymore. Every rapper sings now, every singer raps now, you know, they play the guitar, they play the piano. So it's just like, I think everyone's just experimenting and just sort of, drawing from all the things we're being exposed to, which is everything.
Another thing he said in that interview was that he thought he was better than Drake and Kendrick and Schoolboy Q, and he was saying, rap is competitive, we're all supposed to feel that way.
Right.
Do you feel that in your lane at all? Do you feel like there's a competition?
I don't believe in competition. I'm just trying to be the best me that I can be every day. And, I don't even listen to a lot of other people's music. I do find myself trying to compete with people that, like, for my own personal, I don't know, like, I'll hear like a Drake song and I'll be like, oh, like, that's such a good song. Like, I have to make a song that is as good as that. Or I'll hear like a Kendrick verse and I'm like, oh, how do I write? How do I tune into like that where I can write an incredible verse like that? So I'm always finding myself, I wouldn't say competing, but always like listening to the male rappers, or even like Jay-Z, and just like trying to hone in on that, on that energy.
It's interesting that you've referenced Drake and Kendrick and Jay-Z. Do you feel more inspired by rappers than what's going on in R&B right now? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself like a lyricist, and so I am definitely inspired a lot by rappers, because that's, all they have is their words, and it's not about, for the most part, it's not about the image, it's not about the gossip or who they're dating. It is about their music, and that I consider myself that type of artist, where it's not about what I look like or anything else other than the music and the lyrics. Like the lyrics are the most important thing to me. And so there are artists like Frank Ocean though, and like John Mayer, who I really love their songwriting also. So yeah, it's not just the rappers.
How do you see the current state of R&B? It feels like, in my eyes, it's a slightly over-sexualized, and I'm curious, like, when your album comes out and kind of goes a different way, like, how do you feel that fits into the context of what, I don't want to label you R&B, but of what that kind of music?
I think that's true, especially with female artists. It's all about like selling sex and selling your body, and the emphasis is not on the music or what you're saying. It's about, how hard are you rolling your body? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's why Sold Out is in its own lane, because, anyone could dance to any song, you know what I mean? But the songs are not about that, and, that's not what I'm about. So I feel like I understand why it would be considered R&B, because it is rhythm and it is blues. I am singing the blues on a lot of those songs, but it's really just about, expressing myself, and not about the image and all the stuff that doesn't have to do at all with the music.
Mm-hmm. Lauren and Nas, I'm curious, did you get to interact with them at all? Did they give you any advice, or what was that like?
I interacted with Nas a few times, but it was like, it was a crazy tour. It was like, I opened that tour, and a lot of the times, like, the audience wouldn't even know who I was, so it was cool to like win them over by the end, and just like have them like really listen to what I was saying in my songs. I didn't get a chance to see Lauryn Hill. We were on like a tight schedule, so we would pretty much have to leave right after I performed. But a few times I got to stay and watch Nas. And just to hear like all his hits, and like see his stamina on stage, and just how humble his spirit is, like that was like the advice, you know what I mean? Like, that you can be true to yourself, and you can tell like he's an artist that does it because he wants to do it, and it's never about, trying to be on the radio or get more popular. It's all about like, he does what he likes to do, and he keeps it consistent, and his audience is consistent, and they show up for the shows, every single time he goes on tour. So that was motivating.
Another tour you were on, Drake.
Yes.
Do you have any memories or anything that stands out about that tour?
Yeah, the Drake tour was obviously the biggest tour I've ever done, and just, to see every night the work that went into the show, and a lot of those shows were like back to back, and it was like the first time that I ever did anything like that. So it taught me a lot about, you know, just work ethic and really being focused, and it was really fun.
And now you're going on tour with The Weeknd and with
Yes.
Schoolboy Q. What can people expect from that tour?
It's going to be a really great show. I'm excited to see the crowd that it brings out, because I feel like I have my crowd and Schoolboy Q has his crowd and The Weeknd has his crowd. And they all sort of know about each other, you know, but it's going to bring together like a really nice crowd with a really good energy. And even like the venues that we're playing at, like the Hollywood Bowl and Barclays, you know what I mean? Like real iconic places. So I think the vibe is going to be like amazing.
Have you already done your set for that? And are you playing the whole album through, or are you kind of like mixing it up with?
No, I'm mixing it up. I'm mixing it up, but I'm definitely going to do a few new things and a few old like throwback things from the mixtape. And yeah, I'm just going to, you know, when I perform, it's all about like connecting with the people. So it's going to be cool.